Okay, so can we find our way into a comfortable seat? And just start to close down the eyes. Start to tune into the noises around the room, using our hearing just to settle ourselves on one point of focus. Starting to bring our awareness to the closest possible sound that we can hear. And then gently taking that awareness a little further away, a little further away. And taking our awareness to the furthest sound we can hear. See if we can maybe move outside of the room that we're in. Challenging our hearing. How far can we take ourselves? And then as we bring our hearing back towards our body, slowly tuning into sounds closer and closer to us. Can we bring that awareness of the hearing to the sound of our breath? Can we hear the air coming in and out the nostrils? Allowing a little constriction of the back of the throat, an ujjayi breath, just to make the sound a little louder. And then starting to deepen the breath a little bit more. Can we take a little bit more air up higher into the collarbones? Feeling as we breathe in, we lift and lengthen the spine. And when we breathe out, we soften the shoulders and relax the body a little more. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, reaching the crown of the head taller. And exhale, softening the hips, softening the knees. And we'll start this morning's class with a pranayama, Nadi Shodhana. If for any reason this doesn't feel comfortable for you, just continue this soft, gentle breath in and out both nostrils. The Nadi Shodhana is alternate nostril breathing. So bringing the right hand up, placing the index and middle finger between the eyebrows, placing the right thumb on the right nostril, the right ring finger on the left nostril. And sitting up tall, drawing the shoulder back into its socket, finding some softness in the shoulder, and breathing in through both nostrils, and breathing out through both nostrils. One more time, in through both nostrils, and out through both nostrils. And then we're going to block off the left nostril, inhale through the right nostril. Close the right, open the left, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, open the right, close the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, close the right, open the left, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, swapping sides, exhale through the right. And keep this pattern up of inhaling through one side, swapping fingers, exhaling through the opposite. Still working on the inhale to lengthen and broaden the chest. The exhale to soften the shoulders, relax the hips. Feeling the more we breathe, the more we feel the energy of the oxygen and the air filling us up. Starting to build some energy in the body, some prana that's starting to accumulate in our lungs. As we continue to work on the balancing of the right and the left nostril, Nadi Shodhana is a beautiful way to balance the right and the left hemisphere of the brain, the right and the left side of the body. And giving us another chance to check in to see how we're feeling this morning. On the next exhale through the right nostril, gently release the hands down to the lap. And just again feeling into the breath coming in both nostrils, going out both nostrils. Maybe setting an intention that you would like to have throughout class. And that will stay with you throughout the day. Maybe the idea of svadhyaya or self-study. Continually asking the question, how am I feeling? Being curious about the postures, being curious about the adjustments you make. Always inquiring how your body is doing, what you can do to change it, modify, make it feel better, make it feel stronger. With that in mind, let's gently open our eyes. Bring ourselves onto our hands and knees. We'll start moving the body. If you have some blocks with you this morning, that might be helpful. Otherwise, if you have some water bottles or anything else that might be useful to place your hands on, we'll need those in a moment. So just placing them to one side. And then finding our way into tabletop position. Moving through Virabhadrasana or a cat-cow position. Inhaling to lift the sitting bones, relax the belly, looking forward. Exhale, press the floor away, tuck the tail under, looking back. Inhale forward, drawing the mat back towards the knees. Exhale, press the floor away, tucking the tail under. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. And slowly starting to increase the movement here, feeling the spine ripple from the pelvis all the way up to the neck. Can we feel one segment move at a time? Making little caterpillar shapes with our vertebrae. And then taking any intuitive movements if we want to side stretch, circle the chest around our hands, circling the hips around our knees. Just warming up the body. Getting any niggles, any cricks, any creaks out of our shape. And then finding our way back to stillness with the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. And then let's gently tuck our toes under and pressing into our hands, can we lift our knees? Just hover the knees off the floor. Floating the knees. Staying here for a breath, pressing into the hands, rounding the upper back, but keeping the sitting bones reaching back. So having a flat spine. a neutral pelvis. And then exhaling, pressing the floor away, coming back to a shortened downward facing dog. Feeling a nice stretch through the back of the legs. And then inhale forwards. Exhale, lower the knees down to the floor. Tabletop. Inhale, lift the knees and hover. And then exhale, press the floor away. Downward facing dog. Inhale forwards. Exhale down. Inhale, hover. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale forwards. Exhale, knees down. Inhale, hover. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. And gently walking the feet out here, bending one knee, stretching the other foot back. Starting to feel some stretch through the calves, some stretch through the hamstrings. And then inhaling forward so our shoulders are stacked over our wrists. We may need to modify our hand position here so we have a straight line with our shoulders stacked straight over our wrists. And then lower the knees to the floor. Pressing into the hands so we're rounded in the upper back, long through the armpits. Let's inhale forward, exhale down, slow and steady, all the way to the mat. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift the chest. Little baby cobra. Just sensitive here if you have a sore back. Exhale down, pressing the floor away, using the knees, back to downward facing dog. Again, just walking out the feet, finding a little bit more movement here as we keep warming up the backs of the legs. And then inhale forwards. Once more, lower the knees down. And then inhale forwards. This time we're going to pause halfway as we lower our chest down. Put Chaturanga Dandasana on our knees. And then can we, as we pause here, press the floor away, inhale, lift the chest up. Feeling the strength here. Elbows stay by the side. So inhale forward, exhale down, halfway, pausing at halfway. Inhale, press the floor away, come back up. Whew. One more time. Inhale forwards, exhale down halfway. Pausing here, open the chest, gaze looking forward. Inhale, lift the chest, press the floor away. And then this time, let's inhale forward, exhale all the way to the mat. Slow and steady, keeping the elbows by the side. Lower our chest to the floor. And then inhale, lift up, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Gently pressing the pubic bone into the mat. Maybe lifting the hands for Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Exhale, lower the chest, tuck the toes under, press back. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking 2 breaths here. Before we pick up the right foot, stepping the right foot between the hands, lowering the back foot down, or the back knee down rather, and raising the arms up to the ceiling for Ashvasanchalanasana. And as we pause here, can we draw our right foot back and our left knee forward, gently squaring the hips towards the front of the room. Feeling a nice stretch through the front of the left hip flexor. And then framing the foot, exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping the left foot forward between the hands, lowering the right knee down. Inhale, arms up. This time deepening the left hip crease, drawing the right hip forward. Feeling that good stretch in the front of the right hip. Exhale, hands down. Step the left foot back and we'll come straight back to Kumbhakasana, plank pose. Now, option to lower the knees down here, or maybe keep the knees lifted. As we inhale forwards, exhale down to halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. And then inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. If there's any sensitivity in your lower back here, always the option to go back to Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. But still pressing firmly into the tops of the feet. The thighs are off the mat. And then with strength in the belly, can we reach the sitting bones back with control back to downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale forwards, Kumbhakasana. Option to lower the knees here and practice Bhujangasana. Or inhale forwards, exhale down, Chaturanga Dandasana, halfway. Inhale, lift the chest, press the floor away, strong in the belly. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. And then strong in the belly, pressing back, rolling over the toes, downward facing dog. Gently lowering the knees to the mat. Resting our sitting bones back to our heels for Balasana, child's pose. Maybe the hands stay extended in front of the arm or the shoulders, or they come back by the side of the body. And rest our head on the mat. Child's pose is a beautiful place to come if you need a break at any time. You don't need my permission to be here. You can come back whenever your body needs it. And then reaching the arms back in front of the body if they're not already there. Let's inhale up onto the hands and knees, tuck the toes under, pressing back Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Before we tiptoe our feet forward, till we get to Uttanasana at the front of the mat. Bending our knees so our belly can touch our thighs, resting the head, and just folding the arms, allowing the upper body to go heavy. Just swaying side to side. Allowing the release of the hamstrings, release of the neck. And then releasing the hands back to the floor. Let's inhale to a halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down, Uttanasana. Inhale up again, Ardha Uttanasana, reaching long through the crown of the head, reaching back with the sitting bones. Exhale, forward fold. This time sitting back in the heels as we stand all the way up. Virabhadrasana, hands reaching to the ceiling. And then reaching the hands to the side, Tadasana. And just closing our eyes for a moment now. Maybe bringing our awareness back to the Svadhyaya, the self-study. Scanning our body. What do we feel as we get towards the end of the warm-up of class today? Is there anything we need to modify as we move on? Let's open the eyes, step towards the top of the mat. With the feet hip width apart, we'll move through some sun salutations, Surya Namaskara A. So inhale, lift the arms above the head, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands down, right foot steps back, then the left. Kumbhakasana. Option to lower the knees here or keep the knees lifted. As we inhale forwards, exhale down all the way to the mat this time. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift, Bhujangasana, maybe lifting the hands. Exhale, press the floor away, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking 2 breaths here, finding those little alignment adjustments. Strong in the hands and the shoulders. Inhale, taking the knee to the chest, stepping between the hands. Exhale, left foot follows, forward fold, Uttanasana. And then bending the knees, standing tall. Exhale, hands by the side. Left side, inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands down, left foot back, then the right. Option to lower the knees here. Inhale forwards. Exhale all the way to the mat, slow and steady. Chest, belly and thighs touching the mat together. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, press the floor away, leading with the sitting bones, downward facing dog. Taking 2 breaths here. For inhaling the left foot towards the hands. Exhale, right foot follows Uttanasana, forward fold over the thighs. Taking your weight in your heels, stand up tall. Virabhadrasana. Hands by the side. So we'll flow through this again, following the breath a little faster, with some options to go a little stronger. Just listen to your body, see how you feel. Let's inhale, arms up, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands down, right foot, then the left, Kumbhakasana. Option to lower the knees here. And then inhale forwards, option to go all the way to the mat or lower halfway for Chaturanga Dandasana. And then inhale for either Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Exhale, press the floor away, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking 2 breaths here. Inhale the right knee to the chest, stepping between the hands. Exhale, left knee follows. Forward fold. Inhale, stand up tall. And we'll flow straight on. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot back. And the right. Kumbhakasana. Option to lower the knees here. Then inhale forwards. Exhale down either all the way to the mat or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press the floor away to your choice of back bend. Exhale, press back, strong in the belly, downward facing dog. Taking 2 breaths here. Inhaling, left knee to the chest, stepping between the hands. Right foot follows, forward fold. Weight back in the heels, arms up. Exhale, hands by the side. Last round. Inhale up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands down, Kumbhakasana. Option to lower the knees and then inhale forwards. Exhale down, taking your variation here as we inhale, either exhale, pressing back, downward facing dog. Taking some breaths here, maybe letting some air go out the mouth. And then inhale forward, stepping with the knee to the chest. Exhale, left knee follows. Inhale, stand up tall. And we'll flow into the left side. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands down, left foot back. Kumbhakasana. Option to lower the knees. Inhale forwards. Exhale down, taking your variation. Inhale up. Exhale, press back. We all meet together. Downward facing dog. Taking 2 breaths here. Inhaling the left knee to the chest, stepping between the hands. Exhale, right foot follows. Uttanasana. Inhale, weight back in the heels as we stand tall. Virabhadrasana. Exhale, hands by the side, Tadasana. And closing down the eyes, maybe having another chance of some reflection. How's the body feeling? And then gently opening your eyes. And if you have blocks available to you, taking those. If you're at home and you'd like to use a water bottle or a couple of books, that's a good variation. But placing these just at the top of the mat. And then stepping back just behind your blocks or your props with your feet hip width apart. And we're going to take our left foot back 1 leg length. Gently taking our left toes to the top left-hand corner of the mat. And starting to deepen the right hip crease as we draw that right hip back and the left hip forward. Keeping the front knee straight, but with a little bend in it. So we're almost dragging our front foot back, activating our hamstrings. And keeping our hands on our hips. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, bending from the hips. And just pausing halfway here for a moment as we start to feel a stretch in our right hamstring. Option to stay here, or maybe release our hands down to our blocks. We can adjust those as we need. Or maybe our hands come all the way down to frame our front foot. For Virabhadrasana. Should be feeling a beautiful stretch through the back of the right hamstring. Always trying to inhale here as we lift our chest. Exhale as we deepen our hip crease on the right side. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, lengthen the crown. Exhale, soften the fold. Inhale to lift. Exhale to soften. And then gently bending the right knee, pressing into the right foot, standing up, hands on our hips. I'm going to come up on our left toes now, bending into our right knee so that we're in a high lunge position. And we're going to inhale to lift our chest, bend from the hips, come onto our right foot, float the left leg up, taking our hands to our blocks again, readjusting them so they're straight under our shoulders. For Virabhadrasana Three. Taking a moment here to align our chest and our hips to the floor, pressing firmly into our right foot, reaching back with our left heel, reaching our left toes down towards the mat. And if we're comfortable here, maybe we lift our hands up to our chest. Anjali Mudra, lengthening from the crown of the head back to the heel, pressing into the right foot, get longer through that right side. Drawing the shoulders back away from the ears. And then gently with control, bending the right knee, taking the left foot back to the mat, standing up, high lunge, and stepping to the top of the mat. Whew, nice, okay. Other side. So taking our weight onto our left foot, taking our right foot back behind us, one leg length. Right toes now are at the top right-hand corner of the mat. And we can get our blocks ready before we get into the posture. Having them just at the top of our toes. As we extend our left knee, drawing our left hip back, our right hip forward. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, bend halfway down. Pausing here for a moment. Maybe staying here if our back is a little sensitive. Or we can lower our hands to the blocks. Or maybe lower our hands all the way to the mat. But wherever we go, can we keep reaching back with our left hip? Keep dragging back with our left foot, maintaining some activity through the left hamstring. And finding our way with our breath. Inhale forwards. Exhale, soften down. 2 more breaths. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, softening down. Last one, inhale up. Exhale down. And bending the left knee. Hands to the hips as we stand up tall. Coming up onto our right toes, bending the left knee again. And then inhale, take our weight forward, raise our right heel to the ceiling, floating it off the floor. Take our hands to the blocks, adjust them as we need. Finding the strength in our left foot and our left buttock now. Pressing firmly into the left foot. Our right heel reaches back, right toes point to the floor. Maybe keeping our hands on the blocks or maybe lifting our hands, Anjali Mudra, prayer position at the chest. Can we get a little bit longer as our head reaches forward and our foot reaches back? Pressing firmly into the left foot, strong in our left buttock. Feeling a beautiful strengthening here for Virabhadrasana Three, Warrior Three pose. And then gently bending the left knee, reaching back with the right toes. Standing up, hands to the hips, stepping to the top of the mat. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. We're going to come into this sequence one more time with a few variations. So taking the weight onto our right foot, stepping our left foot back again, keeping the feet at hip width apart. Back toes pointing to the top left-hand corner of the mat. Again, we're going to gently square our hips off, so our left hips forward, our right hips back. And this time we're going to bend our right knee, coming into Virabhadrasana 1. So our right knee is stacked above the right ankle. We're really, first of all, going to try and suck in our tummy so that we're flattening out our back, tucking our tail under. And then keeping this position, inhale, lift the shoulders, lift the arms. If our shoulders are sensitive, keeping our hands at prayer is a good option. But this time, instead of squeezing the mat together, can we press the mat apart? Pressing forward into our right foot, pressing back into the outside edge of the back foot. Drawing the tummy into the base of the spine. Drawing our pubic bone up towards our sternum, active in the belly. And then hands come back to the chest, prayer position. Coming up on the ball of the left foot, reaching forward with our sternum. Again, Virabhadrasana 3, adjusting the blocks as we need them under our shoulders. Finding our alignment here. Finding our strength here. Maybe taking a variation with our hands, either the chest, by our side, or maybe reaching in front of the body. And maybe we stay here in Virabhadrasana 3, or if we'd like to go a little bit stronger, we can take our hands back to the blocks, gently bringing our left hand to the middle of our chest, in line with our right foot. Bring our right hand to the right hip, And gently turning to the right side. If this feels comfortable, maybe we lift our right hand to the ceiling and our gaze might start to turn to the right side too. Padavita Ardha Chandrasana, rotated half moon. See if we can open the chest a little more, twisting to the right, still keeping our left toes towards the mat, strong in our right buttock. And if the gaze is lifted, gently bring the gaze back to the bottom hand, bending the left knee, taking the left foot to the floor, standing up, and stepping back to the top of the mat. Whew, nice. If we had some wobbles there, perfect. Left hand side now. Right feet back, still at hip width apart, right toes towards the top right hand corner of the mat. Bending our left knee this time. Virabhadrasana 1. Drawing the pubic bone up towards the sternum. Strong in the belly. Lifting the arms up. Stretching the mat apart with our feet. Active in our legs. Maybe here looking up at the fingertips, challenging the balance. And then bring the hands back to the hips, up on the ball of the right foot. We're taking our weight forward, raising our right heel. Again, finding the blocks under our shoulders, adjusting them as we need. Strong in the left foot now. Reaching the crown forward, the right heel back. Taking variation with our arms. Maybe by the side, maybe reaching long in front of us. And we can stay here or maybe bring the hands back to the blocks as we bring the right hand and the block in front of the left toes. Starting to open with our left hand on our left hip, open to the left side, twisting through the chest, reaching back with the right heel. And then the option here is to raise our left hand to the ceiling. Maybe the gaze starts to follow, or the gaze can stay on the bottom hand, helping with the balance. Feeling the wobbles here. Feeling the strength in the left hip. Reaching back with the right heel. Twisting through the chest. Feeling the thoracic spine open to the left side. One more breath. And then taking the gaze to the right hand, bringing the left hand back to the left hip, bending the left knee. Right toes come back. Then we step to the top of the mat. Whew. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. And now we're going to come to the long edge of the mat. Bring our blocks with us. Just place them in front of the body. We're going to take a big step and a half. Hands on the hips. Little micro bend in the knees as we turn our toes in. Take our heels out. Sticking our hips backwards. Bending from the waist. Bringing our hands to the blocks in front of us here. And just taking a moment here to reach forward with the crown of the head. Reaching back with the sitting bones. And if this feels easy and our back's comfortable this morning, we can take our hands past the blocks, maybe to a lower setting or maybe all the way to the floor. And gently walk our hands forwards, drawing our sitting bones back, taking our chest down towards the mat. For Utthita Prasarita Padottanasana. We should be feeling a nice stretch through the armpits. Still a big stretch through the hamstrings. Always drawing our belly back, trying to come through our thighs as you reach our sitting bones back. Crown of the head reaching between the upper arms. And then inhale, walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. We'll place the left hand on the blocks, the right hand on our right hip, and gently twisting to the right side, pressing into the left foot, maybe reaching the right hand to the ceiling, looking up at the top fingers if it feels good for the neck. And as we press more into the left outside edge of the foot, can we reach a little higher with the right fingers? And then gently coming back. The right hand replaces the left hand on the floor or the blocks. Left hand comes to the left hip. As we inhale to open to the left side. Maybe reach the left arm up. Maybe take the gaze to the fingers. Still pressing through the right outside edge of our foot. Can we try and lift the inside arch of our right foot? Feeling how that intensifies the stretch on the inner groin of the right leg as we reach a little taller with the fingers. And gently looking back down. Both hands under the shoulders now. Bending the knees. Let's inhale, hands to the hips. Exhale, stand all the way up. Heel toe feet together. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out. Okay, we can place the blocks to the side again. And step to the top of the mat. Let's inhale up, lift the arms. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step the right foot back, then the left foot. Option here to lower our knees and come straight back to Balasana. Or if we're feeling strong, we can inhale forwards. Exhale down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then we all bend our knees. And everyone will find their way together back. Balasana. Child's pose. Either keeping the arms extended, or maybe resting them under the forehead, or by the side. And giving yourself a moment here to allow the belly to soften down, breathing into the thighs. Another moment here to check in with your body to see how you're doing, see how it feels. And as we start to move into some inversion practices now, just feeling into your body how you need to modify. Are you going to choose a strong practice this morning or a gentle practice? Listening to your body, seeing how that feels. And then gently coming back up, pressing the hands underneath the shoulders. We'll come back to sits on our heels. And we're going to come into the preparation for shoulder stand. The preparation for headstand. Salamba Sirsasana. So if we know where we're going, feel free to come with me, or if you'd like to watch me demonstrate it first, we're going to place our hands on the floor. Reach our fingertips around our upper arms so we measure out our elbows at shoulder width apart. And then interlace our fingers, tucking our our pinky finger out or under. Tucking our toes under, pressing into our elbows, reaching our belly back. And it's like a downward facing dog on our elbows here. Pressing into our forearms, reaching our belly back to our thighs. And our head doesn't touch the floor. So we're building shoulder strength here. We're opening up through our upper arms. And when we're ready, we can lower back down the knees. Press back to Balasana, child's pose. So feeling into this practice, we're going to have a few minutes here, so we'll come into it 2 or 3 times. What I would encourage is when you come up, reaching into your depth of your body, finding as much space as you can, holding for 3 or 4 breaths, and then bringing yourself back down, having a rest. If this is not feeling good in your body and you'd like to have an alternative, we can come into Viparita Karani, where we lie down on our backs and keeping our legs straight up in the air. This is also a really nice way to practice some strength in our legs, some strength in our abdomen. But if we're feeling good, let's go through one more round. Measuring out our elbows and our forearms on the ground. Pressing into our upper arms as we tuck the toes under, press back. And maybe we walk our feet in a little bit closer this time. And if we're feeling comfortable as we extend through our armpits, can we lift our left leg tall? As we reach our heel to the ceiling, can we push into the elbows, get long through the armpits, still no head touching the mat. Exhale, release the foot down. Inhale, swap sides. Holding here for a few breaths. Getting long from the crown of the head all the way to the heel. And then releasing the foot to the mat. Drawing our belly back closer to the thighs. And then allowing, when you're ready, the knees to the floor. Come back, child's pose. Checking in with your body again, seeing how you feel. This practice of self-inquiry, svadhyaya. And we have time for one more Salamba Sursasana preparation. If you've been practicing Viparita Karani, give yourself a rest and then maybe come back into it. If you're feeling like you'd like to stay in Balasana, this is a good choice as well. But if you're feeling strong, let's come back into this shape. Measuring our elbows and our forearms out. Tucking our toes under, being strong in our upper body. Maybe seeing if we can progress a little bit further from our last round. Maybe finding some more depth in our hip creases. Maybe finding some more height through our sitting bones. As we lift our left leg tall, can we soften our right heel a little bit further to the mat? Swapping over with control. Inhale, right leg tall. Pressing back with the elbows, maybe softening the left heel down a little more. And then lowering the right leg, bending the knees, Pressing back, Balasana. If you're practicing Viparita Karani, gently bending your knees, placing your feet on the floor, allowing your feet to be wide and your knees to come together for some constructive rest. And just allowing your attention to come back to your breath, feeling your belly rise and your belly fall. And then let's gently make our way up, all the way down onto our stomachs, with our arms down by our side, reaching back towards our toes, and turning our face so that our right cheek is on the mat. And can we gently start to strengthen our abdomen here, pressing our pubic bone into the mat, as if we're drawing our pubic bone up towards our sternum. And then inhale, let's turn our chin back towards the mat, long through the crown of the head. Exhale, lift the chest, lift the legs, lift the arms. As we stay active in the belly, taking the breath now up into the chest. We're strong in our abdomen. And then exhale, lower down, taking the chin to the opposite direction. Our left cheek touching the mat. And maybe let the hips wiggle from side to side, releasing any tension we may have picked up. One more time, let's come into this. Inhale, the chin back to the middle. Active in the belly, pressing into the pubic bone. Exhale, lift the chest, the legs, the arms. For Shavasana, trying to get long here, reaching the back of the toes all the way to the crown of the head. Active in the belly as the breath rises up into the ribs. And then exhale down, turning the chin to the left, wiggling out the back. Should be feeling a really nice strengthening in the lower back in this posture. And if you're back sensitive and this feels okay for you today, you can repeat this one more time. Or maybe if you're feeling like you'd like to go deeper with your back bend, we can bend our knees, reach back with our hands, holding onto our ankles, drawing our knees in, making sure they're hip width apart. Let's inhale, bring the chin to the chest, long through the crown of the head. Exhale, pressing into the pubic bone, gently lift the chest, kicking the feet back into the hands, opening through the collarbones. Again, getting long here, trying to get long from the knees all the way to the crown of the head. Breath coming up into the chest here, strong in the abdomen, pressing into the mat. And then exhale down, gently lower the knees, release the feet, turn the face to the opposite side. Wiggle out the hips. One more time, taking the variation that suits you this morning, either Shalabhasana or Dhanurasana. If you're taking Dhanurasana, inhale back to the middle, bending the knees. Pressing into the pubic bone, exhale. Lift the chest, lift the knees, lift the shoulders, maybe find a little bit more length here. And then exhale, lowering down the knees, relaxing, letting go of the feet softly, taking the knees to the floor, rocking the hips from side to side. And then gently pressing the hands under the shoulders, pushing back. Asana, child's pose. Feeling a nice, beautiful counter pose here for those couple of back bends. Either keeping the arms extended or maybe placing them under the forehead or by the side. And here can we breathe down into our lower backs. Can we feel some expansion, some softening through those muscles that we just activated? Dhanurasana and Shavasana are beautiful strengthening poses for our lower back muscles, our erector spinae. And just taking a moment here to allow ourselves to soften, release any tension that may have picked up during the practice. And then bringing ourselves up, gently extending our legs in front of the body. We're going to find ourselves in Dandasana. If we feel like we're a little bit tight in the hamstrings or tight in the hips, it can be a good idea to take a blanket or a pillow and just sit on the edge of this blanket or pillow, drawing this fleshy part away from our buttocks, allowing our sitting bones to still fold forward onto the mat, sitting tall on our sitting bones, hands by the side. Chest raises, shoulders soften. Active through the belly here and the lower back as we lift the sternum a little taller. The beautiful strengthening pose for our sitting postures, Dandasana. And then keeping this shape, can we hold on to this shape the best we can while we bring our left foot into our inner thigh, taking our left knees to the side, keeping a little space between our foot and our inner thigh for Janusosasana. As we inhale to lift the chest a little bit further, facing the extended toes, we can exhale to deepen the left and the right hips, taking our chest towards our toes, gently walking our hands along our thighs. If you have a strap or a belt and you would like to use that, you can reach them over the ball of the foot, or just gently hold on to either the shin or the ankle or the toes. As we reach forward here with our chest, can we keep reaching back with our left knee, feeling that open the hip a little deeper. Using our breath here to soften into this stretch as we inhale to lift the chest a little. Exhale to deepen the right hip crease, soften our chest towards our knees. We'll spend a few breaths here, so just allow yourself to soften. Be gently pressing into the right heel, activating our right hamstrings. And then gently releasing the foot or the leg as we walk the hands back up the right leg. Gently drawing the right foot in, the left foot out. We'll swap sides. Bring the right foot to the inner left thigh. Inhale to lift the chest, turn to face the left toes now. And then exhale to gently walk our hands down our leg, reaching forward with our sternum as we reach our right knee back, opening the hip. And just finding your way to wherever your arms reach, maintaining some length in the spine, As we inhale to lift the chest, exhale to soften. Asana, it's a beautiful stretch for the hamstrings on the extended leg, but also the adductors on the bent leg. As we reach forward with our chest, can we reach back with our right knee, reaching it towards the mat. Softening into the shape now. We'll stay for a few more breaths. And then gently walking the hands back up the leg. Drawing our right knee in with our hands, bending our left knee up, and having our feet flat on the floor. Let's gently reach our left hand under our left knee, holding onto the right ankle, and draw the right ankle in towards our left hip. This time we'll take our left ankle to our right hip and see if we can stack our knees on top of each other, wiggling around a little bit. If we have any sensitivity in our knees and this doesn't feel good for us, we can always keep one leg extended. But seeing if we can wiggle around, finding our way down so that our left sitting bone is touching the mat almost as much as the right side. If this is really intense for our hips, we can take one of the blocks that we were using before and place a block underneath our hips, making a little bit more room for us there. And then from this position, trying to sit tall, pressing into our sitting bones, let's lift our right hand up to the ceiling, taking our right hand down behind our back. And bring our left hand up onto the elbow of the right. Gently pressing up with our right hand, reaching a little bit further down our back. And maybe we stay here, or maybe we take our left hand out, turning our thumbs down, binding our hands behind our back. If we can't quite reach, maybe just keeping the hand on top of the elbow is a nice idea. But whichever variation we take, can we inhale, lifting the chest, pressing the head back into our right arm. And as we exhale, can we soften our shoulder away from the ear? And gently releasing the arms, placing them by the side. And reaching our chest forward, we have the option to take our belly down towards our thighs. Making sure there's no sensitivity in our knees. We can lower ourselves down, feeling the stretch increase through the left buttock. And maybe allowing our head to rest on our forehead, on our hands rather, or our chin resting on our knee. Or we can find that other block and rest our forehead on that. As we sit here, can we gently take our left hip back, reaching it towards the back of the mat, feeling that deepen the left hip stretch. And then gently walking the hands back if we've bent forward. And let's take our hands behind the body. Unfold the knees. Let them rock from one side to the other. And we'll swap sides. So now let's take the left foot underneath towards the right hip. This time the right foot on top, the right knee on top. Taking a bit of time to stack the knees. Again, if our knees are sensitive, we can keep one extended if that feels better. And then as we reach our right sitting bone down towards the mat or the block or the pillow, let's inhale to lift the chest. As we reach our left arm up, take our left hand down behind our back, right hand on the elbow, pressing the elbow up into the hand, and the left hand reaches down the back. Maybe we take the opposite hand across and bind these hands behind, if that feels good for our shoulders. And then inhale, lift the sternum, gently take the back of the head into the elbow. Feeling some opening through the left armpit. Using the breath here to lift on the inhale, soften on the exhale. And releasing our hands by our side. Once again, the option here is to gently bend forward as far as our hips like. Maybe resting our belly on our thighs. Maybe taking our forehead to the block again. Keep reaching our right sitting bone back now. Can we ground that down to the floor? Intensifying the stretch on the right side. And then gently walking our hands back under our shoulders. Bring our hands behind the body, uncrossing the legs. Again, letting them rock from side to side. And let's take out anything. If we're sitting on a block, we'll take that away. If we're sitting on a pillow, we can keep that there. As we reach out, legs long. Again, removing the flesh of our buttocks. Sitting up tall on our sitting bones. Let's inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, walk the hands straight down the legs. Finding the depth of your flexibility. Not trying to push past that. Keeping a long spine as we roll forward into some anterior pelvic tilt. Can we tip some water out the front of our bowl of our pelvis? Drawing our belly down towards our thighs. And using the exhale to soften, bending the elbows, relaxing the shoulders. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, soften. Uttanasana is a beautiful stretch of the back of the thighs. And gently inhaling, lifting the chest. And we'll come into a simple twist here. Bring the left hand behind the body, the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Twisting to the left. Gently looking over our left shoulder. Relaxing the belly. Maybe finding a little more space. And then inhale, coming back to the middle. Right hand going back, left hand to the right knee. Twisting to the right. And inhaling back to the middle. Knees into the chest, giving the knees a big hug. And then as you're ready, lying down on your back, preparing for Shavasana. Taking any props that might be helpful. Something underneath your head. Maybe something underneath your knees. And as we start to settle the body down, can we reach our fingertips a little bit further away from our shoulders? Can we reach our heels a little bit further from our hips? And then can we soften everything, allowing our toes and our thumbs to fall down towards the mat? And let's gently bring our awareness to the parts of the body that we have touching the mat, touching the props. Can we feel the backs of our heels, the backs of our knees, our buttocks? Can we feel our thoracic spine, the middle of our back, our shoulders, the backs of our head, the backs of our arms, the fingers, all these things that are connected, touching the mat. And can we take that feeling and create a tangible sense of connection between our body and the floor? Maybe as you bring your awareness to that sensation, you kind of lose the sense of where your body stops and the floor begins. Allowing yourself to kind of melt, to merge into the floor, to feel the connection so much with your mat that maybe you almost become one big object. And then can we move our awareness to the areas of our body that are not touching anything? That when compared to the stability and the groundedness of the areas that are touching the mat, these parts of our body are almost floating. Maybe we can feel our toes just floating in the air. Our kneecaps and our thighs, our belly and our chest, our face and our shoulders, the palms of our hands. Feeling so light and soft, just surrounded by the air around our bodies. And as we tap into this sensation, can we almost forget the fact that we're on the ground at all? this feeling of suspension, this feeling of lightness kind of takes over our whole body. And all of a sudden we can't really feel where we are connected to the mat. Can we embrace this sensation and really feel as if we are floating? And softly bringing our awareness back to our breath. Starting to feel a connection with the mat one more time. As we breathe into our lower back and our ribs. Using the exhales to soften a little bit more as we feel our body, our arms and our legs once again take the comfort and the stability that the floor gives us. And keeping our awareness on this, gently rising through the belly, gentle falling through the belly. This is now your time to rest. I'll let you know when it's time to come back out. And softly starting to bring your awareness back into your body. Feeling your body lying heavy on the mat, connected, safe, stable. Bring some movement back into your fingers, maybe stretching your toes, maybe gently rolling your head from side to side. And maybe reaching your arms up above your head, giving your body a big stretch. And then softly rolling onto one side. Resting your head in your arms. Allowing yourself to be held for a few moments here. Before pressing up to a seat. Maybe keeping the eyes closed or the gaze soft. As we finish class sitting together. Let's inhale, lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders on the exhale. As we bring our thumbs up to our chest in Anjali Mudra. And bringing our awareness back to our intention for the morning. Maybe we took that one of Svadhyaya, self-inquiry, self-study. What have we learned this morning about our bodies? What have we learned this morning about our minds? Taking stock of these learnings and keeping them safe, keeping them close by as we move throughout the rest of the day. Let's finish class with a chant of one Om. Either out loud or maybe following along in your mind if that's more comfortable. Let's inhale to coordinate the breath. Exhale, breathe out together. Inhale again. Exhale through the mouth. And then inhale for Om. Lifting the thumbs to the space above the eyes. You say Namaste.